Welcome to 2 on the 10. Back. How you guys doing again?
Good.
Yeah. Episode 9 coming at you. Hey, again, every week, want to thank you for the support out there. Great feedback that we're getting, growing, leaps and bounds. I love it.
Oh, by the way, that's Paul.
Hey, yes, I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Greedy Nick.
Greedy.
2 on the 10 podcast.
I love it. Hey, before we get started, you got a shout out to?
Oh yeah, no. So I was talking to my boy from high school. Shout out to my boy Matt Garrido. Yeah, that was my boy back in the day, man. I got stories on that stuff. But he called. He called up. We were chopping up on some other business and different things like that. He's actually getting his pilot's license or working on that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
They let old people fly? I thought you had to get eyes for that.
You remember you met him. Actually, it's funny at the Applebee's in Vallejo.
Yep, exactly.
And it sounds funny saying Applebee's, but if you've ever been to Vallejo, that's the only legitimate place to drink.
I know, but
that's semi-safe.
It's a happening spot.
It is. The whole city pops through there. But it's kind of funny saying that. But no, anyway, he just was like, man, tell your boy Paul. I said, what's up? He goes, tell him I check out the show. I got to catch up on a couple episodes. He goes, I can't wait till he talks more football. He goes, man, because Matt knows football. He comes from a coaching pedigree family. Great ball player. I played with him. St. Pat's. He went on to Vacaville after our sophomore year and made all league and all this stuff. But he was very impressed with your guys' conversations about just about the schemes, the defenses, and strategies and stuff. So he was like, man, I can't wait to hear what he's got to say during football season. So shout out to Matt Garrido. Definitely.
All right, man, let's get right into it. Hey, we got all these border crossings down there and all over the border. You got them in Texas, you got them in California, down in San Diego. They're saying it's anywhere from 700 to 1 million immigrants trying to cross the border because of Title 42 about to expire.
Countdown.
Yep. And, it's like a mass gathering at the border. What do you think about this?
I think a lot of things right now. My head's swirling on it. Title 42, what's it expire, at midnight, before it'll be expired by the time you guys watch this.
Right.
But, it was put in place during COVID by the Trump administration. And it's my understanding that when it expires, Title 8 it's going to go back to Title 8, which is business as usual, normal immigration laws, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, so I've seen videos of people in El Paso lined up, thousands of people. I've heard that Yuma, Arizona is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard like 7,000 people are out there in Yuma right now.
Wow.
And I've heard it's, and then I'm hearing rumors of, like you said, San Diego. Mm-hmm. I don't know, what's your thoughts on this, Nick?
I mean, it's pretty crazy that, there's this many people trying to come into the country, and everybody hates America, but at the same time, everybody wants to come to America. But I mean, it's the migrants coming up to the border have been exponentially growing over the past couple years. I know they had the big migrant caravan that was in the news like a year or two ago. So it seems to come and go out of the news, but right now it just seems like there's almost like when you used to do things and you're like waiting and all these people are just at the border. It's like they're just waiting, like almost at like Disneyland for the gates to open. It's like this thing's gonna end and the floodgates are gonna happen. It's crazy. I don't know. I hope it. They can figure out a solution for it. I know there is true need to have people coming to the country. There's people that are persecuted in their countries and need a safe place to go. But U.S. can't take in just millions of people at a time. I mean, it'd be nuts.
Well, we're land of the free, home of the brave, right? So, we take your tired and your needy.
Are we really free, or does that just sound good? I'm a slave to the system. I don't know about you guys.
But you're a slave to the matrix.
I mean, growing up in Arizona, I've always had mixed emotion on, the immigration and, growing up back in the day. I mean, you would have the Mexican immigrants coming in to work, and
why did it have to be Mexican?
Because that's what it was back then.
Okay.
Back in the 80s and early 90s, and they used to come into work and then they'd go home and they bring their money back to their family, and it was a good system. It worked for us. It worked for them. But I don't know. In the last, it seems like 10, 15 years, people have gotten hurt. Like those people are taking their jobs, but I don't see any, any of these lazy white guys, going out and working the fields.
That's racist.
Hey, it might be, but
Sometimes
it's true though.
People say it's racist. Sometimes like facts or actual, things that actually happen in the world.
Oh, I get it.
It's just a product. This is a product of our environment. So
I just say that to joke around.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the truth of the matter is, the people that yell the most are the people that aren't going to be doing those jobs anyway. So it's like,
Well, they say the loudest person is the weakest in the room.
yeah, exactly. So, I've had mixed emotions on it. I mean, I've hired migrant workers, to do stuff, landscaping and to help move things.
You've had an elote from the corner cart guy.
I admit I've gone to the Home Depot and picked up, 2-3 guys in the back of a truck.
That was a fun Saturday night, right?
I knew that was coming right when I said it.
Pause.
But, I've had them help me do landscaping. I've had them help me, move. The crazy story real quick. So my aunt and uncle moved here from Denver. They had a truckload of stuff move here in the middle of the summer. Like it would have took 10 people to unload this truck and put it in their new house. The company that was hired to unload their truck when it got here into Arizona canceled because they said it was too hot that day.
wow.
Meanwhile, they have all their belongings are in this truck just baking out in the sun. So I told my uncle, hey, go to Home Depot. He hired 3 guys. They unloaded the whole truck in an hour. They put the bed together. He had a hot tub. They lifted the hot tub over the fence and carried it in the backyard. Wow. Just 3 guys. And he paid them, he paid them pretty good. He gave them a couple $100 each and get them food. It was still cheaper than what he was going to pay this professional company that decided not to show up because it was too hot for them to work.
Not be professional.
Exactly.
The American way now lately, right?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It seems like a lot of stuff is coming out of Texas right now. We just had this Allen, Texas shooting, 8 dead, more injured.
3 of them kids.
Yeah, it's just wild. And they talk about immigrants being the problem. Well, this guy was here in the United States. I know he was from a Spanish descent, but still, he was a neo-Nazi. This guy.
That's what his manifesto
Allegedly.
said.
Allegedly, with his manifesto. We were
First
talking about
off,
that. We were talking about the manifestos earlier.
So I'm going to jump this real quick and go into my manifesto rant, and then we'll go back to this. It's interesting to me, and again, I just want to state that my thoughts and prayers are with all the people that lost their lives. I don't want to trivialize that whatsoever, but I just have a problem with the narratives always being what they are. I do believe that, and again, how do we know for sure? Pick and choose. Look who's running the country. Look who's running this world. And I mean, when I say look who's running the country, I mean it politically. I actually think people behind the people run the country. Right. Left bird, right word, same wing. Or left wing, right wing, same bird. Uh-huh. This water is kind of strong today. But no. So with that said, it's interesting to me though that there's always this manifesto. It's always conveniently. And maybe that's exactly how it happened. This person's a neo-Nazi. He has the 5 weapons. He has to say his thoughts. But it makes me wonder, because they always call conspiracy theorists crazy, right? Conspiracy theorists are crazy, tinfoil hat wearers, they're this. How come there's no manifesto for ever taking out a global elite?
Well, like we talked about earlier, the global elite have, better security than the president of the United States.
Yeah, and they're also reading everybody's emails. And if you put that manifesto and you send it to your friend to proofread it, you might not end up.
Oh, of course.
You may end up in a car accident.
My point is, I don't think
choking on some food.
I really don't think too many people write manifestos. That's just me. That's me. I think it's a great narrative. And again, Business 101, I've said it on a few shows. Business 101 is to write the story that people can relate to or can be controlled by. And that's Business 101. It's people have to relate to a story. And if you're scared, you relate by being scared.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not being insensitive to this. I'm just saying, how come there's no manifestos, that go after global elite? And there's a lot of people that are pissed at him, that hate him, and are angry with him. All you have to look in the comments. But I've never heard of one attempt ever. And yet, so many people are so crazy. Just something to think about. But
like I said, their security is top notch. Try to get close to any of these global elites.
Well, puts away, and here's the funny part is I'm not even talking the Bill Gates levels, even though some dude did throw a pie in his face.
Right.
But I'm talking other levels, the people behind the people,
Well, in that case, we don't even know who those people are.
Yeah, that is true to a point, but some people do. Not to say
Somebody does.
some people do.
But back to the shooting. I mean, Allen, Texas, Mitch. Me and you have some experience there.
Love Allen, Texas.
It's a beautiful town. I mean, it's a suburb. It reminds me of just a nice upscale suburb of any major city.
I mean, and when you say upscale, I mean, there's parts like Plano. There's parts of Plano that were upscale to me.
Yeah.
East Plano, whatever. But there was also blue collar.
Yeah.
There was a lot of space. You could tell it's up and coming. We go there. We talked about it in a few different shows. We go there for the sports card show. That's the top show in the country, and it's there every other month. And just for this to hit home to us, because I'm a big fan of Allen. Shit.
Yeah.
I actually thought about trying to get a house out there or whatever. I like it out there.
Okay.
It's right down the road.
Yeah, it's about 3 miles from the hotel that we had the
that we'll
convention
stay
at.
at. That we're
And
there.
it's right across the street from the Top Golf, where they
Golf,
always do
yeah.
events for the show.
I got to go back down in Texas because Texas hasn't been good to me. I'm not a big fan of Texas. I mean, I've been through all of Texas. I guess North Texas. Maybe that's the reason why. We got a brother Tomar. He's down in Dallas, but Texas ain't been kind to me. So that's why I'm interested to hear you guys talk about like Allen, Texas, and Plano and these different parts because maybe I need to broaden my horizon, go down there.
All you have to do is talk to Toe. He's going to be the future mayor of Mansfield. Which, by the way, I think I botched it up the first show that we talked about. I think I said McKinley back then, but it's Mansfield. And definitely gave us the whole tour of the town, man. Love that area. Love that whole area. Love that vibe. So back to the important thing of the Allen shooting. I mean, 8 people killed. It's Area R-15. I mean,
Yeah, bunch more injured.
much more injured. A cop took the guy out. I mean, it's tough because again, Allen is not the town. Not you have a town that you see this thing happening in.
Yeah.
That's the one part. You don't see this happening. But Allen definitely does not give you that vibe that, there's that kind of energy out there, so.
I guess there's crazies everywhere, though.
Exactly.
Really true.
No, there's definitely crazies out there. But yeah, I'll just say that,
I got you. Well, all this talking has kind of got me a little thirsty for some beer.
That's a little heavy.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Definitely want to drink to that.
Yeah, definitely want to drink to that. Summer's coming up. Memorial Day's right around the corner. I think I got some trips planned. I know I got a trip planned. Nick, I think you got a trip planned down to San Diego. I'm taking off to Canada. You doing anything for Memorial Day?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go out to my Moose Lodge.
Local moose.
Local moose lodge.
I'm just messing.
But
I don't know yet.
this is kind of like my favorite time of the year. It starts to warm up around here. In the, you can hop in the water. Definitely, I'm about my light beers. So, my Sol, my Jalisco's. But I especially love a local beer here. It's called Scasso Blonde, and it's refreshing.
Actually, I do like that beer too.
Do you?
And I'm not one of those big foo-foo IPA, oatmeal drinker, whatever. But Scasso Blonde's light, so I like
Yeah, exactly. So
the beer and the,
Yeah.
the idea of it.
what's the idea?
Scasso Blonde.
We got a lot of them out here. Definitely. What about you, Greedy?
I'm not a big beer drinker, but when I do, I just like a super light beer. So I'm gonna have to go Michelob Ultra as my kind of go-to beer to drink, just because it's like drinking water, but it does give you a little buzz after about 10 of them. So it works. I'm not even joking. It takes about 10 to get drunk. You get a little buzz off of them.
Well, that's for people on your level and stuff, not for the normal listener.
Oh, gotcha. Normal listener gets drunk off of 2, I guess.
Yep, don't try this at home.
Yes, exactly. Drink responsibly.
As far as me with beers, I can go when I'm slumming it. I could do a Miller Lite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll do a Miller Lite now. I don't know. That's my thing lately. Miller Lights. Of course, when we had the other show, we were talking about the Mexican beers, and of course, Modelo. Modelo with like lemon, a little lemon juice or whatever. I like that. If we're doing a little more upscale, I'm gonna get a Peroni.
Okay. That's a little Italian.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Peronis.
I do love it.
And not too many spots have it, but if they do have it, Heineken Light. Not Heineken, because that's too skunky, but Heineken Light.
Heineken Light. I remember when you first came, when I first met you, you used to drink Heineken like it was your job
Yeah,
or something like that. That used to be, you always had Diet Coke and the Heineken.
Yep.
Yeah, sitting next to each other.
And Red Bull vodka.
Yeah, true. But Heineken
Triple-fisted.
was my shit back in the day. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of past memories, remember when we used to always do Memorial Day on the boat?
Oh, my gosh.
Paul got this boat out there,
Yeah.
and we were always out there every Memorial Day. We'd work out to get in shape before that for like right when Super Bowl ended. No more chicken wings. No, it was broccoli and bland chicken, only vodka. No beer.
I remember we used to go. So we used to go to Anytime Fitness all the time. And we train out there. I'd bring the boxing gloves with the mitts, and we go in there and we get it in, train, legs, everything. I remember that year, one year that we were out there, man, this had to be what, 2007?
It was a little while ago.
Yeah.
Maybe some people's kids weren't even born yet on this thing.
Right. But
Some listeners not.
but I remember we were at the bar one night, and this is kind of one of our last nights of drinking before we go into our hiatus of, eating great, training hard. We were at the bar, and you made a bet with one of the bars.
Oh, you talking about the NFL draft day? The NFL draft?
No. It was with Brittany. It was your abs. Yeah, with your abs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he took a picture with his abs. He's like, "Listen, I'm gonna have abs." It took like 6 to 8 weeks back then. It was quick. And sure enough, Mitch.
6-pack abs.
Yeah,
hey, it's crazy too because you sit there and what's it called? All football season. Saturday college football, Sunday all day and night football, and then Monday night football. We used to hit all the bars, chicken wings, beers, 32-ounce beers, and then the day Paul used to always have the Super Bowl parties at his house too. All right, get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would start, and we would seriously be on a regimen. And I remember knowing that regimen and confidently going, okay, you got February, March, April to the end of May. So 4 months. And I remember, I'm going to get a 6-pack. You're not getting a 6-pack. You can't get no 6-pack. That'd be a crazy bet now. But
What do you mean?
I don't give a damn about no 6-pack. But
he's got a keg over this.
But
6-pack's a starter set for Mitch.
But no, but
Before he leaves the house.
Literally, I mean, even back then, it looked like the transformation was like, no, you can't do all that. But no, Paul definitely was a good trainer, man. Because I'm the type of person, don't get me wrong, I can work out, I put up weights, whatever else. But I'm one of those guys that will sit there and go about 80%, whatever. And I'll be like, all right, cool. I think that's good. I'm good for today, whatever. And you need that. First of all, he would switch up routines, push you. Like I remember the first day the first thing is max, like max weights on the first set. I'm sitting there going, whoa, it was crazy. It was crazy, but pushed. And here's the thing in my head, man, you can't be no bitch, bro. You got to keep going. So, hey, the shit worked, though. The shit worked.
Yeah, it's all about accountability. You always got to, you got to have a workout partner because sometimes if it's just you, you'll skip. I'm like, I can't do that extra step. But if somebody
today ends in Y. I'm not going to make it to the gym.
Exactly. Trust me. If nobody's behind you, pushing you sometimes, it doesn't.
There's two things. I agree. Exactly. You need that. You need that person to push you. You need accountability with another gym partner.
Right.
And then on top of that, you need a goal.
Yes.
And that goal and an event to celebrate that goal.
Yes, exactly.
And so I've done that with you many times with the boats and Memorial Day. And Nick, we've done it a couple times.
We did it a couple times.
With the Mexico trips.
The Mexico trips,
And
through my work.
It's funny though, the workouts are different. When me and Nick, it's more cardio-ish, like 45 minutes of cardio, losing 800 calories during each session. And then with you, it was like, like you have to sit there and pick your arm up and like.
I try to hear you.
Yeah, definitely. But no, that's some good memories. And then,
Then you go back, and then afterwards, you start drinking beer again. You're in the boat. It's just one of them things, and then you start that vicious cycle all over again.
And with speaking of beer, that's what it was.
Yeah.
We all used to drink Coors Light.
Yes.
And there was nothing to throw a 24-pack down when you're in the water.
Exactly. It was. It tastes so good. But
And then you got to make sure you have that DD to drive you home.
of course.
oh yeah,
No, of course.
Always.
of course.
And on the boat.
That too.
But no, talk about Coors Light.
Yeah.
You see what's going on with Budweiser right now is, they're down 11% for the year. That's equate to $4 billion right now over the controversy that's going on, right now.
I was going to say nobody mentioned Bud Light as their favorite beer.
What do you think on this, Mitch? What do you think about it?
Oh, I get to tackle this one first.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my true thoughts.
Okay.
You have a product. Know your product and know your audience.
Okay.
All this public service announcements, all these other agendas. And again, of course, I'm going to think there's more to it. Again, that's just me. I question things. I guess other people don't.
Well, I think they're pushing the woke culture,
Well, it's not even just the woke culture. There's an agenda, again, that is damn near biblical.
Yeah.
Like again, we're in these times. Whether the last days or not, I don't know. But there definitely is I don't even think revelationist is a word, but it is now. But here's the funny part. Did you guys know that the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, and what's his name? I know I had it in my notes. I was on top. Oh, Brendan Whitworth, right? Or Whitworth. Brendan Whitworth. He, in 2001 to 2006, was a CIA operative.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a
Isn't
fact.
it once in the CIA, he never leave?
Right.
And so it's it's kind of interesting that, again, my thoughts on agendas being pushed and CIA operatives. Oh, that's just coincidental. So shout out to all my. And then can we clap it up for the coincidence theorists?
Yeah, they are.
Here's my thing. You're a CEO for Anheuser-Busch, right? And you are a CIA
Former, alleged.
Yeah.
alleged.
No, that's not even alleged.
No, it's not alleged. He's admitted that, but I'm saying I think it's on his LinkedIn. They even said that he worked for the CIA.
Okay, what was he doing? What was he doing in his off time when he wasn't running the company?
Drinking Bud Light, I guess.
I mean, was he going to these foreign countries over here, promoting Bud Light, but also, stealing state secrets? I don't.
Wearing a dress? I don't know.
Wow.
No, but okay, let's get back to like in all seriousness, I have friends. Here's the thing. People that know me, that really know me,
Right.
don't let all the podcast stuff, or the sound bites fool you. If you're cool and you got good energy, I could give a damn about anything else. As long as you're good people.
Right.
As long as your energy's positive and as long as you got good morals.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care if you're purple. I don't care if you got one leg or 5 legs. I really don't give a shit as long as you're cool and you got good energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, I don't need agendas, especially pushed on me, that aren't even true to the percentages. It's like they want to make the percentages, if that makes sense. It's like we take the numbers of how many people are this, or this, and you're not even marketing to it. It's like you're marketing to it between this. One of the big ups in Disney that said, I purposely throw all this agenda out there. It's like at a certain point, do we wake up and go, they're really trying to push this, and I know this is a beer commercial, so how is they pushing it on the kids? But I just think it's it's just this ideology that they're going to just jam this down everybody's throats. Pause. And this agenda is being sped up. I really think this agenda is being sped up. Now,
Okay. So what's the agenda?
In my opinion, the agenda is to basically eventually have a almost asexual existence. Girls become more of a guy and guy becomes more of a girl.
So you're saying the agenda is for us to
Basically
start
to-
blending?
I think it's to blur the lines between everything.
Yeah, and
between
also-
race, between gender,
Kind of
between.
disrespect God's laws.
Okay. No, I kind of feel where you're going. with it.
I'm trying to be very careful because I know not everybody believes as me, and obviously I don't believe as everybody.
Right.
But obviously this is my opinion.
Okay.
And again, I'm saying this with respect to all people. But I don't think I don't need to see a guy and a girl kissing to sell me beer.
Right.
If that's what they want to do, all I'm saying at the end of the day is know your audience. You made an attempt, and I'm sure the people that run this stuff are smarter than this. So I don't really think it's even a failed attempt. I think it hit its mark to get people talking about it and to get
Gotcha.
it on the radar.
I got you.
You miss. You could take 10 L's in public's opinion to eventually get where you need to get.
I got you. So you're saying even though they're down 11%, you said, and people say, I'm not going to drink Budweiser anymore. They're eventually going to come back, is what you're saying.
Well, they may come back, they may not, but the ideology is pushed into people's heads.
Okay.
And again, just like, okay, how do we switch from the top person wins, right? The best of the best, to everybody gets a trophy? We switched, and it pushed quick, right?
No, definitely. I mean, even at the end, you kind of saw that coming. You kind of saw that coming. Even
I'm seeing this coming.
even when I stopped playing football, you kind of saw that coming a little bit, but it was a lot of pushback because we raised old school. And, winners win, losers lose. If you're second place, you're the second place loser.
First loser.
First loser. It's just how it is. But now I get what you're saying, far as how they're trying to push that agenda. I'm just trying to figure out what agenda as far as the transgender thing here, like you said, is blurring the lines of, he and she and stuff like that. make it acceptable. I think I never. Here's the thing. I think we're all, it's just another way of dividing us. But we're always going to be a man. It's always going to be a woman. It has to be. That's
Not in today's society.
It's not.
It's already not. It's already not, though.
And here's the thing: I just watched a video today, and some guy was questioning, and he was talking about, can a man identify as a woman and a woman identify as a man, and most people support that. Well, then he brought up the fact that there was this lady that worked for the NAACP that was a white woman, but she identified as black. She said she always felt that she was born in the wrong body, but people do not respect that or do not see that ideology as being legit, but they do. And that again is biological. You're born that way because your family was, and that's your skin tone and your ethnicity, just like your gender. You're born with a penis or a vagina, but one of them's totally accepted, and the other one is blasphemy. You're for even speaking on it, you're crazy. But you're really talking about almost the similar things. Like you're trying to be something that you weren't born originally. How you feel inside, who's to say if I feel like a woman, who's to not say I feel black, or I feel Mexican, or I feel whatever it is. Like who's to say what's the difference between the two?
No, I got you. But here's the thing. I can't walk into a woman's bathroom and say, what, I identify as a woman.
Yes,
Actually, you can in certain places. You saw the story about the swimmers, right?
Yeah.
The one swimmer with the, what's it called? That's competing in I don't even know the terms, truthfully.
Right.
I mean, so I'm going to very tread on this because I really don't want to, I really don't give a whatever, but I definitely don't want to, I don't want to offend people I don't want to offend people in a malicious way because that's not what I'm about. I'm not trying to hurt somebody.
Right.
Truthfully.
I'm just trying to understand. It's like, I understand where people, are coming from, but you can't essentially push agendas on. This is why we have such a pushback. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the people are speaking with their, with their dollar. But again, this is just one domino, it's one domino, and the chip, they're going to just keep chipping away.
At the end of the day, I don't care. So why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like for a while they were trying to push like the first openly gay athlete. Who cares? If you're an athlete, I don't care what your orientation is, or if you like to, play bingo every Tuesday.
So that's also saying that all the other athletes are straight.
Yeah.
And we know there was a culture where like a lot of it's hidden, whatever. I mean,
but it shouldn't matter. Like I don't like you because of who you're dating. I like you because you play a sport and I like to watch the sport. And it's like they try to push these narratives. And I really think it's, again, to blur the lines. And then it's also an attack on conservative families, conservative lifestyle.
Right.
AKA's
and again, it's
religion and spirituality. Even though I hate the word religion because I think there's such a backlash on religion, But as far as spirituality and beliefs, it's funny because we live in a world that wants to scientifically go, is there a God? Is there Jesus? Is there this? Scientifically, but the same scientific people still run the world with, BC and AD.
No, I got you.
And that's interesting to me. Why would they change that? And they are gonna. In fact, I almost have a feeling like, before COVID and after COVID is gonna be the next thing.
Well, you touched on money earlier. My man Lamar Jackson actually, finally got his money. 52 million.
Can we clap that up?
Yeah.
Pop on for him too.
$52 million a year. Yeah, $52 million a year, $260 million over 5 years, 180 guaranteed.
185.
Oh, it's 185 guaranteed, huh?
Don't try and short the man.
He's got $5 million.
Yeah.
He can't survive without it.
No, he's earned every penny. I'm proud of Lamar. He bet on himself. And he was, pushing the envelope. He was just waiting to see what, Jalen got. And I think after he saw that contract come down and the Ravens knew, hey, listen, we got to lock up our quarterback. None of these quarterbacks in the draft are proven. There was nobody else out there that had the type of talent this man had. And so I think the Ravens did the right thing. And like I said, I'm proud of Lamar for sticking to his guns and not giving in. So
Not getting marginalized.
yeah, exactly. So
But he didn't get that 100% guaranteed contract that he wanted.
yeah,
Well, you got to start. I mean, some of it's part of negotiation.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Shoot for the moon, and then I always tell people is like, raise your expectation, raise the bar up high, because if you miss it, you're still up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't ever lower the bar, because then if you don't even hit that low bar, you're low. That's what I'm saying is like shoot for the moon. So ask for the world, and you see. I mean, 180 million guaranteed. I mean, that man is guaranteed to get 180 million.
185.
And he didn't have to pay no agent.
Yeah, he had to pay no. It was just it was amazing. So that's why I said
Well, he had a few things again, that probably kind of rubbed the good old boy network wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got a running style quarterback, which I mean is more the way the game's played.
Right.
They, now on record, you can say that more chance of injury, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the running skills diminish. And so you're not. And is he good enough of a pocket passer to make that next transition? I mean, again, we talked about this before.
Yeah, we're talking about. I mean, but
I do think
but look at Josh.
but
look at Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He runs back. We're changing. I mean, the whole quarterback position is evolving.
No, of course.
Yeah, but just because the athletes are evolving.
No, agreed.
You're having 260-pound men
Yeah.
running 4.3s. Unheard of back in my day.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
No, agreed. It's just I do think in this aspect, Josh Allen's considered more of a thrower than Lamar is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for that aspect. And in fact, you're almost surprised by how he runs. In fact, it seems like Buffalo doesn't want him to run, and but I mean, it seems like every third down he needs to run for that first down.
Right.
Hey, quick question, Paul. Do you think that because all these athletes are pushing the limits of what their bodies can do, is that why we're seeing just more injuries and more short-term careers in sports in general? Because, I mean, a body's not designed for like a 6'6", 280-pound guy to run a 4.3 40. Like, you're pushing the boundaries of what just the
torque,
natural
the
body
muscle,
can do.
yeah.
Well, I always told people, like, especially when I was playing, I said, our body's not designed for two grown men to run full speed into each other, period.
Car crashes every play.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, that's why you see, concussions, now on the rise, stuff like that. And we're trying to, they're trying to make newer pads, newer helmets for that. But I can tell you, when I used to go to practice or we'd be in training camp, I would pop.
I used to hear about the headaches, bro.
Yeah, I'd pop either Advil or I'd pop ibuprofen, before I even started, because I knew, we had 707 or 709, and you coming downhill, as a fullback at the time, I'm coming downhill on a linebacker, play after play after play, and you talking about ringing bells. So it's just getting more prevalent because, like I said, it's evolution. Like I said,
But if you look at some of the guys that have the longest careers in sports, like let's just say the NFL, for example, you're talking one of the big positions is O-line. I mean, those guys aren't the ripped muscle. They're kind of more natural but heavier set. And they don't push their bodies as much as, you get that ripped. It always seems like there's that defensive end that's just swole that blows out something or gets hurt every year consistently. And I think it's they're pushing the limits of what.
I mean, if you look at
comfortably.
O linemen and D linemen, they're only in like a short area. They're only like 2 to 3 yards away from each other. So.
More about explosion.
Yeah, it's not like you got a running start when it comes to that. So that's why I think the longevity there is. But if you look at a fullback / H-back, or line, or outside linebacker, inside
Blitz and
linebacker,
safety.
blitz and safety and stuff like that, they have a running start. So that's why you see the longevity along the line, the O lineman or the D lineman, because they're in a short window. I mean, it's like I said, it's like 2 to 3 yards. So you don't get all that kind of a running start and pounding on someone. So I think that's why you get the longevity.
But they're also pounding every play, a guy just as big as them smashing into them, and I mean that's got to take a toll. They're getting hit. I mean, I think for linemen, a lot of their injuries are leg related because people are rolling up on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And their bodies are way bigger than what their legs can.
Shout out to the old school Niner chop blocks.
Exactly.
I used to hate those watching those.
No, I just wonder sometimes, like you see, like they're pushing the limits on. You're getting these guys that are bigger, stronger, faster, but that doesn't equate to better always.
Well, let's bring a different position. What about special teams?
Yeah.
That to me is the biggest car crash.
I mean, but they changed the rules.
Yeah.
They changed the rules because trying to minimize the concussions. So they brought up the kickoffs up 5 yards closer. So I mean, how many times? I mean, you rarely get a run back unless it's designed. You know what I'm saying by the.
I mean, you're even seeing the NBA though. You look at some of these players now, like consistently, and they're in some of the best shape, but consistently hurt, consistently having leg and knee and all kinds of injuries. You look at someone like Kawhi, Paul George. I mean, even LeBron now, his body's starting to break down. You're seeing these guys.
Man's 38 years
He
old.
is 38, so I give him that.
You
But
know.
I'm just saying, there's just, it seems like the injuries are just more.
But they
and
also
more.
have a longer season than NFL guys. I mean, we have 18 weeks where, but we do practice in between all those 18 weeks. But and beautiful thing about now compared to when I was playing, whereas you didn't have they limit you on the number of days you're in pads and you go on full speed. You may have one padded practice and then you go shells the second practice, stuff like that. So they are watching out for their players. They're understanding and that's shout out to the the CBA, shout out to NFLPA, just looking out and taking care of our our players and stuff like that. So
Keep those checks coming.
speaking of checks, go ahead, man. Speaking of checks, what they say, Patrick Mahone, after seeing this Lamar deal, is actually going to restructure his contract where he's going to get more money.
He needs to restructure his brother.
I guess when they signed him, they made a promise to him that he would always be the highest paid player. So they said after a couple more contracts were signed for quarterbacks that they would come back to the table with him. And so now there's reports that before the season starts, he's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history.
Which is crazy because he's already getting paid $500 million as it is right now. I mean, his contract is.
Yeah, they're talking about tacking on 3 more years and increasing him to over $55 million a year average.
$55 million a year.
The only thing that's crazy about that, and don't get me wrong, he deserves, if there's a scale, he needs to be at the top of the scale for the next 10 years, in my opinion. But you notice what Tom Brady did in the heyday of the Patriots, and I'll use a different sport. I'll look at what Tim Duncan did in the heyday of the Spurs. And both those dynasties were very successful in the 2000s, you know what I mean? And it's like allowed them to pick up, by not maxing out what they can make, that allowed them to pick up a lot of different players. Because the one thing we're already seeing from the Chiefs is they always seem to be letting people go. The money's an issue. And you look, and you got a lot of positions you always need to fill, especially on the defense.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely incredible. But you're talking about team. We're gonna go back and talk about teams. Let's talk about the all NBA team, man.
Wow.
There was a lot of surprises this year. People got snubbed. I
Devin Booker.
Mitch was really, really salty about that one. I know it's like. So, but
So
I'm gonna let you
I
speak
want a
on that.
rebuttal on that from Mitch, but we'll get into that in a minute. So
Don't do it. Don't get destroyed
Just
on
to
TV.
Todd, the NBA all NBA teams. First team, you got Giannis, you got Tatum, Embiid, SGA, and Luka. Second team, you got Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Jaylen Brown. Third team, you got Sabonis, Fox, Lillard, Randall, and LeBron James.
Yeah, 38-year-old man balling still.
Did you say bald?
Balden.
Balling.
So I'm going to go ahead and start this one real quick and just go. The things that just look off to me, no Devin Booker in the top 15 players. That's just, my opinion. But no first, second, or third NBA team. And then, honestly, I don't care about position. How's Jokic not on first team?
You know what? I agree on that. I mean, he was one of 3 players for MVP this year.
I mean, he was going to win the MVP up to the last 2 weeks. In fact, probably the only reason that he didn't. And I mean, although Embiid balled the last couple weeks and had a couple big games, but Jokic played on the best team in basketball.
I think he didn't get it because he's won it, the last 2 years?
Exactly. You know, they always go, you got to get a new,
It was like kind of like with Steve Nash. They're like, oh, we can't give it to Steve Nash again. We got to give
well,
somebody
they
else.
shouldn't have given it to him one other year either.
Yeah, but hey, he got it.
Hey, shout out to Kobe Bryant, rest in peace.
So, Mitch, no, what I was saying about that is you were saying LeBron, you know, and rightfully so. I don't think so. Shouldn't have made.
And that's not a diss on LeBron. He played 55 games. It's just that you shouldn't get a reward. And don't know, his stats were pretty good. His stats were, I mean, you know, 29 points, et cetera. I mean, amazing stats for his age, but his age should not have anything to factor with the rewards.
Well, you did say the snub on Devin Booker, so I'm going to read you some stats. Okay.
Okay.
29, 8 and 7
Okay.
for 55 games.
Okay.
28, 4.5, 5.5 for 53 games.
Okay.
You know who those two are?
Who?
The first is LeBron.
Okay.
Second is Booker.
Okay.
So if you're going to throw LeBron out, then you got to throw Booker out for the same reasons. Yeah, his stats were great, but he played 53 games for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you bring it to me that way, 53 games, I guess I have to stick to be consistent on that as far as 55 games for LeBron. But I will say this, that Book does not get the credit he deserves, and that's just a fact. It's not even being.
I agree.
It's bullshit.
He showed out this year.
I mean, the dude
what he's doing in the playoffs is incredible. Mike, I mean,
The guy I think that got snubbed, Trey Young. Trey Young, in 73 games, was 26, 3 and 10. 26 points, 10 assists a game.
But here's the thing.
now we'll come to crunch time.
Speaking of snubbed, snub nose or snubbed John Morant.
John Morant, too. Yeah, I think he kind of got a little bit of backlash just with the whole.
Yeah, but well, here's the thing. If you're in the league, so you're not allowed to win awards anymore? Like, so he's not going to be an all-star next year because of what happened?
So here's the thing: is you got to understand that this is not. I mean, it's also political too. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not only about stats. It's about perception. Like I said, I think Jokic is the biggest snub out of all of them. You can't be a MVP candidate and not be on one of these teams. That's a pure snub. I think these other guys, you're talking about the 53 games, talking about John Morant, with the gun and stuff like that. I think that all comes into play,
No, it does.
Then like LeBron being 38 years old, we talk about, we always talk about the GOAT, talking about, LeBron, Jordan. I mean, we can go on as another show, but what was Jordan doing at 38 with the Wizards?
Well, first of all, I mean,
He wasn't making all NBA team, I'll tell you that.
second of all, I mean, he did make the All-Star team, but here's the thing. He didn't have the cast. He didn't have an Anthony Davis. I don't think he's ever had an Anthony Davis, to be honest with you.
Hold on, but he had a Scottie Pippen.
He had a Scottie Pippen, but not at 38.
I mean, he had a Steve Kerr. He had a Dennis Rodman.
We're talking about at 38, though, or
you're talking about it,
or the Wizards.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he didn't have anybody. He had a Kwame Brown.
Kwame. Shout out to Kwame.
So we're gonna say team sports based on.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Now, if he got to pick his team like LeBron gets to, and gets to navigate all that stuff, then it's different. I mean, the NBA got real different between Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James, and this is not taking anything away from LeBron's talent. I was actually one of the few people that was defending him. You can go back on Facebook posts, and when he made his switch to the Heat, I was like, "That's fine." I mean, like he has the right to do that. I've always said that. I mean, he has the right to do it. Whether the only problem I had, the two problems I always have with LeBron are his fans that support anything he does, no matter what, blindly, and then go and have a problem with it someplace else when somebody else does it. That's one. And two, the fact that they came out and celebrated winning 7 titles before it even happened, and then only won 2.
I know he always gets backlash for that. I'm a big LBJ.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, and they come up celebrating and smoke. When's that the entrance, the press conference to start the season?
It was, like I said, going down to South Beach down there, it was wild. It was a little bit over the top and stuff like that. And that's why, they got the backlash for it. I'm always gonna be an LBJ fan. That's my guy.
I'm gonna be sad with. Here's the truth of the matter. I'm gonna be sad when he doesn't play anymore.
Right.
I mean, because you would be a hater to sit there and say the NBA is not in a better place without him. You'd be a hater to say that.
Right. No.
I'm looking forward to watching his son play and to see how that plays out. To see if they play on the same team. I'm rooting for that.
Right.
And it's funny. I'm kind of one of these people. I'm the opposite of the bandwagon guy. I had a LeBron Cleveland Cavs Mitchell and Ness jersey like the first weeks that he came out the box. I had one. I'm sure you guys, you guys remember.
Right.
And then you just start seeing all these people that don't know anything about anything. LeBron's my favorite player. It used to be Iverson, but now it's LeBron. It's like, okay, just jump ship on people. Oh, Kobe. Like, how do you go from Mike to Kobe to LeBron?
Right.
I mean, you're just the front runner.
Right.
You're a front runner to me.
Hey, I will say this: the one guy that's got to be super happy about getting in the All NBA team is Jaylen Brown.
Why is that, Nick?
It qualifies him for a supermax contract, so it's about an extra $100 million that he's going to sign.
That money when he goes down to Houston next year, he's going to put in that strip club money.
Speaking of money,
Speaking of money, yes, man. Finally, I was belly aching last week about sports betting and how I got job with 3 points. Well, this week turned around and this week.
And let's just for the people that might not caught last week, I'll just catch everybody up to speed real quick. So Paul had a bet, and it was a $10 parlay, right? $10.
It was
$10.
Yeah,
$10 parlay, and everything hit. All he needed was game one of Lakers Warriors.
Yep.
Steph Curry to hit 30 points.
Yes.
And for the background on that, we talked about it in a show a couple weeks ago, and Steph had 16 in the third. By the third,
Yep.
It did not look even close. We're texting back and forth from different locations. They're watching the game. I'm at another place watching the game, and I go, "Man, I'm rooting for you." There's still a shot. I actually was probably the most. Oh man, this ain't gonna hit. I go, "I don't know, bro. They're down 10. Curry's got to shoot. He started hitting threes. Started coming. And then all of a sudden, right when it's within range, Curry has 27 points. All of a sudden, he starts driving in the hole, and he gets blocked 3 times. One time there should have been a foul. It wasn't called.
Right.
And then I go, he's going to still throw up a 3 with 2 minutes left. They're down. And it seemed like Jordan Poole shot 2 of them. And Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm going to jump off this for a second, come back on. Why is Draymond Green handling the ball at crunch time, the 2 big losses for the Warriors?
Terrible.
It sounds like either, I don't know, man. It just again, sometimes you gotta trust your eye test. And when I see him handling the ball and shooting a 3 at the buzzer to tie the game and missing it, I'm like, what the hell's he doing? And then he dribbles the ball down and loses the ball. He shouldn't even be having the ball. What's he dribbling the basket for?
Yeah, and just for reference, that $10 bet would have paid
13,000. Yeah,
it was 14.
Yeah, $14,000.
Yeah.
Off
13-8 or whatever.
Off 10.
Yeah.
So
And he missed it by 3 points. Steph did not shoot in the last 3 minutes, so 27 should have got 30.
Right.
Would have won 13-8 or whatever it was.
Yeah. So, but Cinco de Mayo, go out. Of course, got the bets in and hanging with Nick and
Greedy.
And I'm like, I need this to come in. And Nick's always checking his bets. He was like, "Oh, bro, you're getting close." And it came down to Michael Porter Jr. and Devin Booker. Michael Porter Jr. getting 3 threes and Book getting 4. And so Michael Porter Jr. hit, and then Book just needed 1 more. And I told Nick, I said, "Listen," I said, "if this comes in, we're going to the Oceans." And sure enough, it was not even probably about 2 minutes later after I said that. He's like, "It hit!" I went nuts, man. We partied that night. We had a great time. Cinco was.
What was that hit for?
Total all bets that night, it hit for 11 grand. So that night, so
That was a $50 bet, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. So, but with all the bets that night, so that one hit for 9, and then the other, I had some other bets in there, but it was a good.
Clap that up, man.
Yeah. It was.
I'm clapping up because I'm getting ready to go Oceans 44 for some steak.
Yeah, so I got I got to take Greedy out because I promised him, but I'm actually happy about this one. I get to go to Oceans, my favorite restaurant. If you ever here, and if you're not local, and you come to Phoenix, definitely check out Oceans 44. It's my spot. I can't wait to have the popcorn shrimp, some steak. Oh man!
And if you can't, just go to Long John Silver.
And if you like oysters, they got those Blue Point oysters from New York.
Yes.
My family I got some family in Blue Point. Shout out to the New York family. But the oysters are world renowned. They're some of the best. So
Right. No,
check that place out. Oceans 44 is amazing.
Yes. So
Speak to that.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and having some cocktails and just
What about you, Mitch? What you looking forward to eating?
Well, actually, there's a new pizza spot. Well, it's not new, but on my radar. It's called Pizza Cotta. So anyway, my boy Lambert's in town this weekend.
Oh,
So I told him about it, and so he made reservations. So we'll have to have him on the show talking about sports cars one day. But that dude's crazy ass. He's I got the party bus, so we're gonna go out. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy weekend. With
pray for your liver.
Yeah, but yeah. So Pizza Cotta in Carefree. they do a Roman style pizza. You know, we on one of the other shows we spoke about La Piazza's the only Roman certified, but I guess this is a different style, and they have the only certification for this Roman style. Yeah. It's like it's not as thick crust. I just can't wait to try it. I've heard a lot of great reviews on it. Some people call it their favorite pizza place. So yeah, we're going to check that out on Saturday night.
Damn.
Yep. Definitely. What you got, Grady? You looking forward to going to Oceans?
I'm just looking forward to going to Oceans. I'm gonna have a steak. The last time I was there, they had those. Was it the corn with like the creme brulee topping on it? It was like.
Here's what's funny.
Delicious.
So this is for the people that aren't in this area. I just want you to know, and then I'm gonna do it justice. But this baller ass restaurant's in the mall parking lot, but.
What's off to the side?
Well, okay, but it's in the mall. It's over by Macy's. It's by Macy's. Over by the parking garage.
Yeah.
Right by the AMC theaters.
Yeah. But I mean, you got Tokum. You got a whole bunch. You got
I get it.
You got Nobu. You got a whole bunch.
I just find that concept a little ironic. But you also got to know this is Scottsdale fashion,
right?
And you do got Tokum Madera. You also got you
Nobu.
You got Nobu. You got them. And then here's the funny part: right across the street from the theater, in the same parking lot, is where they're building the Caesars the sports bar, or 11-story resort.
Oh, the 11. Yeah.
First Caesars non-gambling property in the country. And it's going to be in the parking lot of Scottsdale Fashion.
Yeah.
So it's just a joke. It's just a joke. I mean, honestly,
I'm looking.
How many mall parking lots have all this shit? You know. Shout out to Scottsdale Fashion.
Exactly.
But hey, speaking of all the stuff you guys are going to have at Oceans, you know, I would think that you probably head up to maybe Fox's Cigar Bar afterwards in Scottsdale, right? Have a good cigar.
Yep. Shout out to Mitchell Fox.
Shout out to Mitchell.
Yeah.
I like your name.
You know, one of my guilty pleasures is having a nice cigar. You know, normally do it on a Thursday night. Go out and to either Scottsdale. I mean, he's got a couple locations. What's that? Gilbert and also Scottsdale Road. Also, I go to Piro sometimes in Chandler. But if I'm smoking, I'm going to either bring my own stick or
What's your go-to? What's your go-to?
God of Fire, easy. God of Fire is probably if you've never had it. Order it online. It's probably one of the best smokes you'll ever have in your life. It's a medium body kind of cigar. It smokes perfect. If I'm gonna put you up on a little game, if you got a young lady or you got your wife or you got your girlfriend, whatever, have them try Crazy Alice. That's a good starter for a woman or
I thought you were gonna say do a Lewinsky with her.
Well, that's after you take her home and
That's your intern.
That's why they call it the God of Fire.
No, but
she'll be screaming, "Oh God!"
Yeah, but no, that's
sounds like you screamed that before.
Like I said, I love having a nice whiskey. I don't do too much Scotch, but except as Belvini 18 or 21. Try that out. If you're not, I'm not a big Scotch drinker, but that is really really good. What about yourself?
Well, first of all, I got a co-sign on that God of Fire, and it's funny because I'm a Connecticut smoker, which is the light wrap, just because I want to make sure I stay away from the cigar mouth the next morning. I'm not saying God of Fire does not give you.
You're always gonna have a cigar mouth.
But I'm talking like you don't want the George Burns old school grandpa. Your coat smells like cigar for like 3 years. You know what I mean? That's what I'm staying away from. So Connecticut's do that for me. The light, it's a light. It's almost like it's just a smooth smoke. You can smoke it in front of people. I know a lot of the females I hang around with, they'll be like, "Oh no, that's fine." They're not worried about the smoke. I like the smell.
Right.
So it's not overpowering. It's not that super like old man cigar that people that might not be in the cigar game.
Right.
But God of Fire is amazing. That's like you said, medium level, and I will smoke that because it's such a good cigar. Otherwise, I do my my Connecticut's, my lights, and right now, I'm definitely depending. If I'm going a little more high end stick, I'm going to do I'm going to do a Davidoff, Davidoff Connecticut.
Okay.
And right now I'm on the kick. I was doing some tobacs. Drew Estates does a tobac. It's got like a little coffee hint, a little sweet. It's like a more natural kind of sweet cigar. I like those, but right now I'm on my Perdomo 20th anniversary cigars. I love those.
Dope.
But real quick, what do the God of Fires hit for, just by chance?
They go anywhere from depending on what body they're, anywhere from 21 to 23, somewhere around there. Stick. So I normally just buy a whole box.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, they are hard to find. Like
Yeah,
for example,
very hard to find. I mean, just go online. I mean, Scottsdale sometimes have them. You just got to ask for it.
they sell out fast.
Yeah,
They sell out fast.
Like I said, is my favorite cigar. So.
Yep, definitely worth checking out.
So if you ever want to buy me a gift, birthday or whenever, send me a box of cigars.
And you know what? One thing, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again for people that didn't catch that episode. I was talking to a gentleman that owned a cigar shop. I think it was Tinderbox and Nawatuki back in the day. And we were just talking. And this was before I was into cigars heavy.
Right.
And he goes, you know what, Mitch? One thing I love about my business is I sell a product that brings people from all walks of life together. And they have an appreciation over that one cigar, or a cigar. And he goes, there's two things that I've noticed that do bring guys together, regardless of walks of life, regardless of blue collar, regardless of CEO, regardless of status. And he said it was cigars and motorcycles.
Wow. Dope.
And where people have an appreciation for the both, and have a shot at being in that game. So
Gotcha.
Again,
Grady, you smoke at all?
If I do smoke a cigar, I ask for the lightest thing possible. I have enjoyed, I think they're the acids.
The Acid Blondie.
Yeah, a lot of girls like
They're
those.
pretty light, yeah. So hey, I'm okay with that. I don't smoke, but when I do, it's gonna be a super light cigar. I just like to puff on a little bit,
Gotcha.
just to be part of the crowd and chill and have a drink and talk and shoot the shit. So
There you go.
that's what I like.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thought of the day. Let's start out with Grady right here. Give me a good thought.
All right, so I'm a just it's gonna be a little deep, a little heavy, but
Pause.
it's socially acceptable for women to go out there and talk about their feelings and get together and cry and be emotional.
You can too, man.
But guys don't do that same thing. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that are struggling, have a lot of personal issues going on, and women too, to a point. But right now I'm talking about guys and having the struggle and the pressures of, supporting a family and keeping a job and some pressures, with the dynamic of a relationship that women maybe don't always feel. And I just want to say that, if you're out there and you're a guy and you're listening, we're three guys and we talk the shit and we have fun and we've all had our struggles as well. If you're out there and you're struggling, definitely get help because somebody out there cares about you. Somebody out there loves you and nobody wants you gone. So if you're struggling, I don't care who you are, reach out to somebody. Man, if you don't know anybody, if you don't have friends, send one of us an email. You find us on 2 on the 10 podcast, shoot us an email. We'll talk to you.
No, for real, that's true.
It's true.
For sure.
Life is too important and it's bigger than your troubles. And I know when you're in the moment, your troubles seem like they're the worst thing ever. But when it comes down to it, your life is the best thing ever. And every second you have that you're alive is a blessing. And just if you're out there and you're having a hard time, ask for help, look for help. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. It's okay if you're a guy to cry. It's okay to ask for help. Sometimes we all need it. So definitely if you're out there and you're struggling, talk to somebody, try to find some help. Don't hold it inside until it's too late because we care about you and we want you to be around.
True that. I like that one.
No,
I like that one.
definitely.
There you go. Mitchell, give me something.
Well, just to piggyback off of what Nick said real quick also is, you may be at a low point, but just know or just reiterate in your head, embed in your head that the decisions you make affect other people too. And other people do care about you. And that's why I think the concept of, the one concept, we always knock the new generation stuff, but one of the terms I actually like is giving people the flowers, giving people their flowers. That's one of the new, gen kind of things. And I do like that though. It's up to us to also go around too. And say, hey man, I love you, bro. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and showing that love, I know we come from that generation where, it can be harder, like you're a guy's guy, whether you're the alpha male or you're not, whatever, it's tough sometimes, but man, open yourself up, man. This is a different world. Show that love. I'm telling you, it took me a little while in some areas, but it's like, man, just giving that good, positive energy, it honestly comes back tenfold, and it makes you really feel like you're living. And that's not my
and I just want to say that the whole reason this comes up is yesterday in the news here, and I got stuck in the traffic. Some guy pulled off the side of the road on the I-10, which is a major interchange from California all the way through Texas and across the country, got out of his car and walked in front of a semi-truck. And now they're not saying maybe he got confused or it might have been a suicide, but if it truly was a suicide and your life is so bad that that's how you're going to end your life. Because not only does that affect the person that's going to pass, but you got to think about for the driver of that truck that now has to live with that for the rest of his life.
With the trauma.
Anybody else that may have saw it happen, it's just, life's too short. We don't need to, cause problems for ourselves and for others. And nothing's that bad. Nothing in life is that bad that we can't, talk it out or figure it out without having to go through extremes like that.
A lot of times you might just need a different perspective or need a different framework that you're not in that frame to look at,
Yep.
and you just need to buy yourself the time and know you're worth it and know that people care. I mean, I'm not trying to jump your thing, but
of course.
Just
No, it's
adding on
important.
to it. All right, my thought of the day then is, and again, it's tough to follow that up because I'm passionate about that as well. I think that's something we can all relate to, and we're all we joke around a lot. But if you get to know us, you know that that's just one joking and clowning and stuff is one aspect. At the end of the day, we're definitely about our families, about relationships, about people, and about enjoying this ride, but doing it the right way, in a positive way, with good energy and good morals. Truthfully. So,
Exactly.
But as far as my thought of the day, we're talking about sports bets, and it always seems like, and I'll say this, I think I've said it before, ever since sports betting became legal, or across the country, it seems like the favorites don't win, not to the extent they used to, and it seems like the superstars don't hit the number to the extent they used to.
True that.
And my reasons behind that are, my thought process is, the casual bettor, and it seems like everybody bets. I go to the bars, everybody's on their phones betting. So I would love to get the real numbers of how much money changes hands and, how much and where it goes. Because I know it's got to be astronomical, astronomical. So before, when they're like, oh, well, the NBA, remember whether it was true or not, well, the NBA has to go 6 games for, the TV contracts to pay themselves. You don't think they want to go 6 games now for 6 games of sports betting? I don't know what's going to happen on the, next Lakers, or Lakers Warriors game, LeBron and Curry, but that's got to have some of the most sports bet action out there,
Right.
And it's like, you don't think they want 6 games of that? You don't think they want 7 games of that? I know there's going to be some surprises and stuff, but it seems like the star players, though, back to my point, don't always hit their number.
Right.
I noticed, the other night, and I don't want to throw names out there, but I've seen players. I see players, and I'm like, I'll sit there and go, man, they're shaving points right now, in my opinion. Like, oh, watch, this guy that shoots 94% is going to miss a free throw, misses it. He's going to kick the ball off. He's going to rush the shot. He's going to shoot it short. He's going to do all these things. And I know that sounds real picky and petty, but when you watch these players enough, either that is the truth or that's your perception of it, right?
Jason Tatum.
But here's my thought. The counterpoint, because I'm always a counterpoint, counterpoint guy. I always think the other side too, just so I have a better understanding when I make these points, or I say these points. The other side is, no, that you're wrong, Mitch. That person's human, right? They're human. Humans make mistakes, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Well,
Jaylen Brown.
Well, apply that philosophy to what I'm saying.
Right.
Can they be on the tape? They're human. Or are we saying because they play sports, they're above that?
Right.
I'm going to say, and if you say that, yeah, because you don't want to ruin your Santa Claus moment, that there's no Santa Claus or that that's possible,
Right.
then I'll go here then. I'll go, oh, so we can talk about a Catholic priest and we can say he touched a kid and we can make a joke about that and go, oh yeah, well they do. So a person that makes an oath to God can touch a kid, but a sports player can't break a rule to point shave. Even though both have been proven to have happened.
Right.
We're not in doubt that people have shaved points before, right? That's happened, right?
Right.
It's been on record.
Right. Yes.
Oh, when you played in NFL, did you ever go off the script that they gave you and try to do something different?
No comment.
So my point being is that, think of the shit in an open mind again, or don't, because I guess it ruins the entertainment value. But when we look at it from a sports bet perspective, it's interesting. We've had bets, we've talked about our different strategies in sports betting. It's like go against the money, go against the popular thought, et cetera, go against the big names. It's just funny how that works. It's never who's going to win the game and who's going to play, like who's going to play the best. It's never that. It's always 100 different factors. And all I'm going to say is just think about it for a second. If you're going to say the excuse that they're human and they make these mistakes, like kick the ball over and look the other way or throw it in the guy's back, which seem to be uncommon, then can we take that they're human a little further and go that they would take a bribe or they would maybe make some trades off for generational wealth? I mean, but again, I'm talking to a crowd that doesn't think the politicians do that.
Right.
But yet we see their bank accounts, and they're even harder to trace than athletes. So it's like, how did this person make this much when they only make this much a year?
Right. I feel you.
But we live in a world where people look the other way and go, no, that goes against what I would be my happy place, you know?
I feel you. Mine's going to be short and quick. Mother's Day, man. By the time you guys see this, it'll already pass. Make sure you hug them, kiss them on your moms. Some of us don't have your moms. Fortunately, I do, but this will be one of the first years, and I can't say how long I won't be able to spend it with her because she wanted to go out on a cruise, which I'm so thankful she's able to go see the world because she's instilled that in me. But man, go kiss your mom. Go give her a hug. You wouldn't be in this world without her. That is the number one woman in my life. She's stuck by me no matter what. And
Hey, shout out to all our moms. All our moms are great.
Definitely.
Give up applause for that.
And I love you, mom. So thank you for everything. Hey, episode 9 in the books. Thank you. We out, baby.
2 on the 10.
2 on the 10 podcast.
You bitch you.